So we are STD po. Sorry, let's try to do that. So
And
we
get,
are
get
Standard
closer.
POS.
Yes, thank you. And you can stay away. Okay, that's
so
good.
we're
No,
Standard-
that's stay a little bit. Yes, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, can you see?
Yes, please go ahead.
All right, so we're Standard POS. We're working on the video browser tool. Our application, as some of you might remember, is in charge of presenting video in a video processing network. Well, not network, but an algorithm. We're in charge of presenting video that is going to be given to us. We are in charge of all the user interface in terms of selecting video, uploading, login. We're also in charge of selecting what algorithms are to be applied to this video and set of videos. So this is going to be handled in a user cases. So there's access control involved with this. So for now, we're just going to go ahead and run the test coverage that we have as our initial presentation. So this is our client coverage, and then shortly we will have our backend coverage. So for the most part, our backend coverage is fully tested. There's a couple of things and functions that we have added, but we haven't actually covered. In terms of the client side, there's some components that we added, and so thus they're not fully tested, but they're not really that big of a deal as of now, as we will be developing them in the next iteration. Sorry. So then we'll go ahead and just give a quick outline of our current product that we have developed. Okay, so this is our video tool. This is the login page. As I mentioned, we are doing access control. So all of the data is going to be uploaded by a user individually, and they will be able to log in. So go ahead and click on login. Once the user logs in, they'll see the home page. Our dashboard is our main functionality here right now. This will house a list of the videos that we have. Like I mentioned before, we're mainly in charge of uploading video, storing it in a database. So if we can go ahead and actually upload the video. So once the video we select the video as a user, we select the video. From there, it saves the video on our local server. We had originally connected our service with S3 services for storage, but upon speaking to the sponsor, they requested to try to decouple from any third-party sources and for storage, and we are currently storing it to our locally. Once it's stored locally, we also are making a thumbnail that's saved to our local storage as well, and all of that is being tracked by MongoDB. So this is the current information of the video that we just uploaded, which will give us a unique UID that we append to the video itself, and it gives us a short description of what our video is. So this is the main functionality of the dashboard we are in the process of actually displaying. So if we go ahead and go to our process tab or page, this is a mock video of what we're actually going to be showing. We don't have the video on the website, but we do have it with Postman. So once you look at the screen, this is where the user will be able to show or select, to be more precise, what algorithm needs to be applied. The sponsor has specified that this is going to be the response to the algorithms are either going to be video, point data, or just an image itself. So if we go ahead and click one of the videos, once this is processed, this is one of the sample results, which is just a video. The second one, if you scroll down, sorry, go ahead and click on me and then scroll down. So it'll be a chart it will be displaying. And this is what we have so far. In terms of where we put the elements, we had feedback from our sponsor just yesterday where he wants elements kind of just displayed in the page, but this is just so we can show the functionality, as we didn't find it all too crucial or important to figure out the design of the page yet, just to be able to display the data and show our core functionality. And in terms of the product, I believe this is all we have as of right now, but the back end, which is our main component of the API, this is the client. The back end, we can show more of the functionality through our Postman calls. So at this point, we are requesting, or we're making a call to our API.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can you enlarge the text?
Just press.
Not working.
I don't. Is that better, or is it? I don't know if it's actually growing or not. It seems like it's.
Yeah, if that's as much as you can do, then.
I think it's just like a bit, but.
Blanket. Can you read? Can you read?
Not really, but I think I'm able to understand. I'll ask questions if I have.
Okay, so just to explain this page, we're making a call to our API.list. So essentially, this is a call based on, since we're not actually dividing the users yet, this is just based on one single user that we have, which in this case is the Arun ID. From here, we're just listing all the objects that are stored within the database in terms of the video. As you can see, we have the unique ID that's created, obviously the UID, which we'll be sorting, just the name and another ID, the video length, which is calculated once we upload. And then this thumbnail is gonna be the format. Yeah, so base64 right now we're storing it, but we're finding that this is a little bit too much for the database to handle. So we're probably gonna change the form that we're storing our thumbnail as of right now. But this is just that call to the API. This in terms of the project will be what presents the list of videos that the user contains in terms of his library. If we go to the next call. Oh, it froze. Okay. Just close it. So now in terms of retrieving the videos, the same way as we were posting it on our client side, the client will make a call to the API, as it will not directly interact with the videos. So once the call is made to the API /videos request, we're giving it a unique ID, as every time that we display it, we're looking for a unique ID. Now, once that happens, this is directly streamed to the browser, which we will be showing as an element in our browser, but as of right now, showing the implementation in terms of the request of the API. You can actually play this video, and this shows the direct streaming that's happening to the video browser. And the upload call, or the upload route for the API is what we just we showed on the actual browser, but that's actually something that we've implemented into the application. So that shows that the main three components of the API routes are fully functional, and in terms of combining the work that our backend team and our front-end team, we do need to work a little bit more to display that all in the browser, but the functionality that in terms of database and API is in progress at the moment, but definitely making good progress. Now we can actually show our backlog. So this is the backlog that we had for our sprint that just finished. We had quite a bit of things that we wanted to complete for this sprint, and we achieved a couple of them. So in terms of the setup for React Router, in our previous iteration, we actually had none of the routes functioning for React, and there was a learning curve, but our front-end team was able to figure out those. We have the continuous iteration setup. We finally got it nailed down, and we're actually able to run the coverage test as we showed at the beginning of the presentation. From there, testing both the front and back end is fully functional. We are able to connect the client API and our, the client-side server and our client or back-end API successfully, and we're able to route through the proxy for both of them. We developed the login, which is new for this iteration, and the nav bar itself. So we did a big leap of work on the front end, which, like I mentioned before, it's something that a lot of our team in the front end is still getting familiar with, but they're doing great progress in terms of that. We didn't get to finish a good chunk of the backlog. We did actually add more as we were going, as we figured out that some of the things that we had prioritized weren't necessarily something that we could achieve, or there was something better to focus on. So we've developed Mongo Schema initially. We have more additional components that we have to add to that. We are also working with JWT for in terms of authentication. That's still in the works. So now in terms of what we didn't get done completely would be some of the video player is something that we have put on the back burner for now, which we'll be focusing on the next iteration. So we can actually go to so what we will be focusing on this next iteration is basically this. We will continue to develop our schema. We obviously only needed basic functionality, which is what we've worked with so far. There will be more additions to the nav bar, not too many. The JW token is an authentication between the API and the client is one of the important parts, since we won't actually be authenticating to the front end. The front end will only know if there's actually a connection and if it's properly managed. We will continue to work on the data management as we have now fully been able to make the API calls. Now we can actually start to separate by user, and we will progress with that. In terms of the front end, there will be video player controls, which is one of the big things that the sponsor wants, and other just user interfaces that we will continue to develop. Another thing in terms of the placement of all the components, now that we have more feedback from the sponsor, we'll be able to apply this as well. And I believe that's it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you can go back to the client page for a minute, where you are uploading the video and processing it. So if you go to the previous window that we saw just a minute ago. So right there, can you walk us through what you're doing here? What does Rhythm to really do in this case?
Okay, so in this particular page, if we go ahead and click from the dashboard, this will be the landing page for each individual video. This page will be where the user actually selects what algorithm is applied to the video itself. As of right now, we are going to mock, so that's why we saw a video. Once we take algorithm 1, we can see a video that pops up in the bottom. This will actually be in a left to right once it's actually fully developed, but that just shows what algorithm has been applied. And if we go ahead and apply or check algorithm 2, we're able to see this other result that's applied to this specific original video. So really, it's just the results from the
sorry,
algorithm.
can you give me an example of an algorithm? What would be an algorithm, for example?
Okay, so let's say in the actual application, this can apply to, let's say, surveillance video from an airport. So if we have the surveillance video here, let's say the first algorithm is trying to find or detect objects that might look dangerous in terms of explosives, which we know happens. We can then go ahead and click this, and it will show us individual images or frames where this has been captured. That'll be given by the service. It's not developed by us, but we will just display the results on here. Another thing could be just a list of points of times, like let's say where there's more movement in the frame, we can go ahead and just show the different times in terms of a graph. That's obviously posted by time of the day or time of the month and stuff like that.
So the algorithms will be provided by the sponsor?
Yes, exactly. So all we have to do is, like, if we check one of these, this will just store which one algorithm we want to apply and save that to our database. The next part of the application, which is not developed by us, will read from the database, apply those, and give us what we need to present.
So how would you know when that processing has been complete? I'm just assuming that processing may take a little while to finish.
Yes, exactly. All we will have at that point is a flag to be able to display either this is in progress or not. Since we don't actually know how long the term will be for each algorithm, because it can depend on factors such as how big the video is or the processing intensity of the video, we will just basically display, hey, this is in progress, or this is presented if it is completed itself.
So in what form are you going to display this information?
It'll just be as, let's say, a string that says, or an image that says in progress or something of the sort. We haven't actually nailed that part yet, but
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what it would look like.
So hypothetically speaking, let's say you have a video or an image or a video of let's say a room, and there are, let's say, two things I'm really interested in. One is just devices in the room, but the other thing that I'm interested is in figuring out if there is some faces that I'm looking for patterns. Quite logical, at least in my mind, to query for multiple algorithms at the same time. So would it be possible, or is it expected for the user to say click on algorithm 1 and click on algorithm 2, comes back, they will know which of those results are back, and then they can flip and back and forth and view the results of one algorithm versus the other in the proposal? Or is it just that they will only see one at a time?
So the idea is that right now we essentially, it's like an on-off switch or a Boolean. If you pick one or not, it'll be the same thing. So what we could do in that sense is, if they check it and it's still being processed, we can gray out a view button so that once it is complete, we'll actually be able to click on that and see the results. Right now, we have them as a single page. I'm assuming we'd be able to do it the same way, but in terms of clicking what they want, they'll be able to see all of them if they're available, or only see the ones available at that specific time. And like I said before, that'll be a response from the server itself once it is completed.
Question I have is
From the usability. Sorry, go ahead.
네, so question I have is this. So let's just say you allow multiple display of the information, but you need to press button between algorithm 1 and 2 or 3. So what happens is, let's just say I was looking at the result of algorithm 1, and then I press algorithm 2 so that to get the data from the algorithm 2. If I press the algorithm 1 button, would it restart the processing the movie again, or you just maintain the previous data, but there's maybe you will provide a let's say refresh button. So you have to do, if you press the refresh button, then you'll start to process the video again. Does it make sense?
So yeah, I understand your question. So in essence, it'll only query it once. Since that video file is the same, there's no sense of processing the same video again with the same result.
Question: would it make sense to have, let's say, algorithms and processed algorithms? Because what if I have 4, 5, 7, 10 algorithms I can select from? So would it make sense to have two available things I've not processed yet. You click on something, it's grayed out on the other one because it's still being processed. It's available. You can click on it on the second panel, the results of it, to present them as two different lists. One is available, either still in processing or already processed. And for whatever reason you want to, you clear it like you said, and then it goes back to available, and then you can fire it again. So in other words, one list where you can fire algorithms, the other is where you can view the results of algorithms that's been processed already.
So, I understand the gist of what you mentioned, but what is the question exactly?
Is this user interface sensible is the question.
Yes, that's really the idea of what we're trying to attempt. We wanted to make it a sense of a control panel for each video. So like you mentioned, we can have a list of all the possible algorithms and check yes or no whether that's the processing that we want. And then once it is complete, we can show a list, like you mentioned, of everything that is available based on those algorithms. I don't know
Okay,
if that precisely answers your
I
question.
would say the one who's driving that should be the sponsor, obviously,
Yeah.
but I'm just raising the question.
Yes, no, I understand.
Okay, did you say? Can you repeat again the last word you said?
So I was saying the sponsor is the one who decides how it looks. We're just raising the question.
Right. Okay. Did you say anything afterward?
No, I said that's all I have.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.